Well, we know what we must do.
I'll ready the disposal unit.
Not that, too soon. But I like where your head's at.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are nearly 40 years old. Coming from its humble roots as a parody of gritty 80s comic books with a whopping number of 129 issues published by Mirage Studios, plus dozens of miniseries, other comics in the Turtles multiverse. In that time, we've had 6 theatrical films, 28 video games, a stage show, 1 live-action TV show that we don't speak of, and as of now, there are 4 TMNT cartoons that have hit television. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987, TMNT 2003, TMNT 2012, and thank you for the love of God, the show that isn't repetitive, Rise of the TMNT in 2018. But primarily focusing on television, a common thread with each incarnation is an influx of fans who dislike the new iteration of the Heroes in a Half Shell. Call it nostalgia, or even call it prejudice against something new. But I think the show that gets the short end of the stick is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The series was developed and produced by Andy Serrano and Ant Ward. The series aired on Nickelodeon in the United States from July 20th, 2018 to August 7th, 2020. The principal cast consists of Ben Schwartz as Leonardo, Omar Benson Miller as Raphael, Brendan Michael Smith as Michelangelo, Josh Brenner as Donatello, Kat Graham as April O'Neil for all my Vampire Diary fans, and Eric Bauza as Splinter. Eric Bowser might be very familiar to you because he played Tiger Claw in 2012. The show was released during a very tumultuous time. You see, during the 2010s, it was standard practice to reboot television shows for a new audience. And the catch was that the reboots usually got revived as comedic satire of the original property. Sometimes it worked, and you got shows like DuckTales 2017, Mystery Incorporated, and The Looney Tunes Show. And other times, you got shows like Powerpuff Girls, Thundercats Roar, and the most infamous of the bunch, Teen Titans Go. Granted, I don't hate the last one, but fans of the original series definitely had an axe to grind when it comes to that show. So why did so many fans dislike Rise so much? Well, first off, it may be due to the aesthetics coming off the back of the 2012 show, which did get a lot of flack for being CGI back in the day, but eventually the stories complemented the art style. With Rise, however, they take on a very Kill la Kill Studio Trigger style. I personally think they had more in common with the original Teen Titans than the often compared to Teen Titans Go. The tone of the show swung between very comedic and very dramatic. And I just want to get this out there. That's pretty much every TMNT show. Yes, there are some iterations that are a little bit darker than others, but I think all the shows have a dark tone outside of the 80s cartoons because of regulations back then. For Pete's sake, they started off as a parody of Daredevil. This franchise was never meant to be uber serious. They're called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Camp is a good thing. The show wears camp on its sleeve.
Only I had a clue as to where they are. Someone send me a clue. Anything. A hint, a whisper, a well-timed crash.
Action.
Boy, your back is awfully stiff.
That's because it's a shell.
Another aspect of the show that fans may or may not have liked may have been the chain of command between the 4 brothers. You see, in this iteration of the series, Raphael is the oldest and biggest brother. He still loves to scrap, but he loses his angry persona this time around, only popping off when all of his brothers are in danger, as you do when you're the older sibling. He's kind and sensitive and is always willing to lend an ear to his brothers. He's very open with his feelings, which is a nice change of pace for his character.
Couldn't have done it without you, April. Our girl with the plan. Oh! Hey, guys.
And here.
Honestly, I don't know. We already hit him with everything we got, so insert Dad's plan here.
I got nothing.
Guys, I know exactly what we need to do to defeat Shredder. Apparently, there's a weapon in the Twilight Realm.
Ralph! Ralph! Ralph!
So, all we need to do is figure out what the Twilight Realm is, where it is, how to get there, how to get out, how to use the weapon, and probably some other stuff.
He struggles with the leadership role from time to time, but always finds a way to pull through and get his brothers out of the mud. Leo and Donnie are twins. Donnie's the older twin and Leo's the jokester. So basically he's Dewey Duck, but that's not a bad thing. He's still a strategic fighter, but this Leo has personality, which is good. Which is better than being born first or being the leader. I like the fact that he's not antagonistic with Raph. That he actually has a character.
Pizzasaurus, we've been over this. None of those things are real.
Calm down.
Blind spot. And a blind spot over here. And a blind spot over here. Kidding me? This is Blue Rat Jitsu we're talking about. He could beat anybody.
You know, though?
In fact, he could beat tons of anybody's at once.
Stop talking.
Like your champ and those 6 guys.
Will you shut it already?
In fact, we don't want this over too quickly. You should armor up those rookies. The whole shebang. Especially with...
Traditional fans probably hate that change, but I'm very fond of it. There have been multiple iterations of the TMNT, so having a change like this spices up the franchise. There was a status quo change that was made during the end of the series, which I really didn't enjoy because I feel like it backslid to appease older fans. So Splinter appoints Leo as the leader, and I feel like that undercuts Raph's progression in the show, but it is what it is.
You are true heroes. It wouldn't surprise me if someday someone made a movie about you. Oh, and Blue, you are the leader now.
Wait, what?
Donatello by far is one of the funniest turtles. And it's his constant dry wit, which is at an all-time high in the show, which really makes him funny.
And come back! If you ever want to milk the puppies, they have 8 nipples!
No! Stop, no! Great job, Bam. And Donnie, I guess.
If I weren't so enchanted by the beauty of our replica Jupiter Gym, I'd probably say something like, look over there. Push!
Boys, Pizza Week is not just a week. It is a week about family coming together. It's 7 days of putting aside what makes us different and coming together as pizza lovers.
Does he think we don't know what a week is?
I wasn't sure they knew what a week was.
And Donnie? Where's your thing, your emotionless passion?
Here.
And when they say Donatello does machines, they mean it. This guy is basically Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic wrapped into one, coming up with all the gear and the tech for the turtles and himself to use. He's not just some guy with a stick. Come on, Splinter. It reminds me a lot of Louis Duck from DuckTales, the DuckTales reboot. Always giving a sarcastic comment, but it really hits you like a Mack truck when he does say something. Finally, we have Michelangelo, who isn't a surfer bro this time around, but he's a cinnamon bun, man. He's really the baby brother in the show. He's more defined by his artistic talents in the show, going as far as to be a fan of the culinary arts.
Dad, don't use Axum Dre's real name. He's the most wanted man in the hidden city. No, stay. It'll be fun.
No, let him go. It'll be funner.
I made a wish, but don't ask what it is or it won't come true. Hey, where did Teddy Berry go?
To think their way out of a problem.
We did, with our phone.
Favorite, Blue Mike Tony's pizza!
I really love this iteration of April. She's always down to get in the mix with the turtles, and she's super useful, and God forbid you get on her angry side. She will mess you up.
Hey, this is a real problem, Donnie. Not only did they steal your tank thing,
she really feels like an honorary member of the family, kind of like their sister in a way. The brothers feel and act their age in this version. The teenage part in TMNT really sticks out in this incarnation. Not only are they goofballs and scatterbrains, but they really seem closer than any other version that we've seen in the past. Each brother mixes and mingles with each other, and it doesn't really feel like the Leo and Raph show or Mikey and Raph show. They have hobbies and interests and do things outside of just being ninja. They're all different and unique, and every single character is likable and relatable in some aspect. They feel like people you actually know. The humor feels very character-based and not random XT lol that other reboots were going for at the time. The angular designs and almost graphic textures that the show has for each character reminds me of something straight out of a comic book than previous installments. The turtles have a very slapstick nature to them, and when the fight scenes pop off, ooh, boy, watch this. It's fluid as hell. I also dig that every turtle is a different species. Raph is an alligator snapping turtle. Leo is a red-eared slider. Donnie is a spiny soft-shell turtle. And Mikey is a box turtle. I guess we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Hamato Yoshi, aka Splinter. First things first, I gotta say, I absolutely love the idea of Splinter being Hamato Yoshi. Yes, this isn't the first show to do that, which is why I love that trope. I know in the original version of the TMNT, Splinter and Yoshi were two different beings, but I was never really a fan of that. I think them being the same entity is really cool. That being said, one of my favorite actors of all time is Danny DeVito, and this version of Splinter is basically Frank Reynolds.
I will take a size 6. My craft.
Yes.
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual. Wow. But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces?
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang! No, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot them in the back. But I don't run so good.
And I know it's very jarring coming off the back of the 2012 show, where you're used to the very serious, wise, and almost perfect version of Splinter, which he probably is. But Rise Splinter has personality. Sure, he started off as an abrasive and kind of a douchebag, and he only referred to his children as the color of their headbands. But I thought it was funny, especially whenever he refers to Donatello as purple. There's some kind of magic when he says purple. That's really funny. It always cracks me up.
You took the tank from your son? Well, I've done some awful things in my life, but you're an animal. I am not taking the fall for this.
But what could he do to you?
Purple is a monster.
He will fry my TV so all I get is educational shows.
I know you're in there, Dad. I can see your tail. Oh, Papa, if you surrender now, there shan't be any consequences.
That is a lie. I taught him that one.
And I can't be the only one that really digs the idea of Splinter being the biological father of the Turtles. That's a super dope inclusion. It slaps harder whenever he says my sons, or whenever the Turtles refer to him as their dad, because now they're not just a found family, they're blood related, so it raises the stakes. But like Shrek said, Splinter is like an ogre.
Layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers.
And this shrewd and rude version of Splinter is actually a multifaceted being. You see, Splinter comes from a long line of warriors known as the Hamato clan, a group bent on fighting the evil forces of the Foot Clan and safeguarding the world from the evil forces of the Shredder. In a tragic turn of events, however, it was destined that Splinter would have to separate from his own mother and eventually make his way towards America to have a fresh start away from his responsibilities. Starting his life in the US almost as a Bruce Lee inspired type figure known as Lujitsu, Yoshi was forced to participate in something called the Battle Nexus. Think Mortal Kombat for all my video game fans. And older Turtle fans, you know what Battle Nexus is.
Hello, I am action star Lou Jitsu. You know me from hit films and hit infomercials like greeting card neckties and Dreamcatcher gloves. I am here to talk to you about my patented 5-step Lou Jitsu JITSU strategy.
Well, aren't you cute? I will call you Green. And you, Green number 2. Oh, how can I tell you turtles apart?
He triumphed over many of his opponents, which earned him the title of greatest champion. Sometime later, Yoshi swore off fighting in the Battle Nexus, but Big Mama, who was his ex and the owner of the Battle Nexus, did not like that and put him in a cell. Because of his fighting prowess, he came across the evil villain known as Baron Traxum, who wished to use his DNA to create an army that would serve him and kick butt. Once Yoshi realized what Traxum was trying to do with his DNA, he got the hell out of there and tried to save the turtles that Traxum was going to experiment on. But in the process, the parts of his DNA got tapped onto the turtles, making him their biological father. Also, when he tried to escape, he got bit by a rat and got mutagen on top of him. So he became, traditional Splinter as we know him now. But don't let the funny nature of Splinter fool you. Like Raph and many of the other turtles, when it's time to scrap, Splinter will whoop your ass.
And I thought purple was the funny one.
lightning round. Let's talk about all my favorite villains. They all feel like something straight out of the DC villains catalog. I love it. They even have a team known as the Evil League of Mutants. Tell me that doesn't scream Legion of Doom. First, we have Hypnopotamus, formerly a hypnotist and stage magician who was mutated into a hippopotamus. Next, we have Big Mama, the organized crime figure, and she's also the owner of Battle Nexus, and she's Splinter's ex-girlfriend. She's also a giant spider, so arachnophobia. Ew. Next, we have Meat Sweats, a celebrity chef. Think Gordon Ramsay, but he got mutated into a pig. Mikey used to be a big fan of Meat Sweats' human persona, but that didn't really faze Meat Sweats because every time he sees Mikey and the other turtles, he tries to kill him. Next, we have the Foot Clan, led by Foot Lieutenant, voiced by Rob Paulson, and Foot Brute, voiced by Maurice LaMarche. If those names sound very familiar, because they should, because first of all, Rob Paulson was the original voice of Raphael in the 1987 show and Donatello in the 2012 show. But more importantly, it's Pinky and the Brain. You know, from Pinky and the Brain.
He's very busy with his own activities.
I am Pinky.
The biggest takeaway from this show is the idea of family. And it does a way better job than any Fast and Furious movie that you'll ever see. So, eat your heart out, Dominic Toretto. Unfortunately, family could not save Nickelodeon from pulling the cord prematurely. Originally, season 2 was supposed to be 26 episodes, but then it was cut in half to a whopping 13, getting shipped off to Nickelodeon's sister channel, Nicktoons Network, which all my Nick fans know is a cultural death sentence. You don't have to believe me, just ask the second season of My Life as a Teenage Robot. But let me tell you something, man. That finale, what they were able to crunch out was spectacular. The final episode sees the turtles face off their dangerous opponent yet, Shredder. Finally. You see, this isn't your granddaddy Shredder. However, this version of Oroku Saki is a demon voiced by Hun Lee, the previous actor to portray Splinter in 2012. Also, in this version, he's the direct human ancestor of Splinter and the Turtles through his daughter, Hamato Karai. So yes, all the Karai fans, she does exist. He is Splinter's ancestor, which is wild, instead of his daughter. If you watch the last one, it's a mind twist. He wishes to terrorize humanity with his destructive power and obtain invincibility by consuming the essence of the Hamato clan. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier, which separates this incarnation from most other turtles, is that they have freaking superpowers alongside mystical weapons that they used to fight crime. And yeah, I know 2003 they kind of had powers for a little bit, whatever, but this time they actually have freaking superpowers, like permanently. The turtles tap into something they call Hamato Ninpo, which is an ancient mystic power. It's revealed in the series finale of Rise that all the mystical power in the yokai world, which is derived from the Imperium, which is a mutagenic substance, which was contained in the eye of a crying titan, which was located in the Hidden City. You don't have to worry about that too much. Just know the Hidden City is where most of the yokai and monster and mutant animals exist. Also, it's the home place of the Battle Nexus, which we previously talked about. You see, inside the statue's head, a long time ago, was the skeletal remains of a Krang. Alongside the Krang was a broken container which held the Imperium. And this is the same substance that was responsible for mutating all the yokai in the past. So, yeah, let's just say that statue was very important. This ability, though, this mutagen allows the turtles to do amazing things, such as Raph's Susanoo form for all my Naruto fans, where he summons a giant version of himself, like a giant kaiju version of himself, and kicks ass. Ultimately, the show was canceled way too soon and deserved more episodes. But this leads me into talking about its follow-up movie. The movie basically picks up from where the show ended. The turtles run into a mysterious figure who's revealed to be Casey Jones, but the twist is that this Casey comes from a war-torn future where the Krang have taken over. This future is dark as hell, and we see an older Leonardo who wears one of Raph's arms, and an older Mikey who's mastered his mystic powers. So, in a tragic turn of events, the Kyle Reese-style character of Casey is flung into the past and must team up with the present-day version of the Turtles to prevent the Kang from taking over. The team is tested as they have to test their might against the Krang without relying on their mystic powers, and must look to Leo to guiding them through this rough time. This is an interesting dynamic because you have Leo who has to grow into being the leader that we're used to him being, but it's not that easy because he was a laid-back goofball in the original series. So you get to see him contrast between the two ideologies. But make no mistake, your boy pulls through, and boy, it kicks a lot of ass. Raph has to master the balance of being the older brother while also guiding Leo into being a better leader. And then you got Mikey and Donnie, who are basically Abbott and Costello, just firing on all cylinders in terms of comedy. April is April, so she's always the life of the party and there for a good time. And yes, she throws hands when necessary. Casey is an interesting character in the sense that he's very much the Kyle Reese type character. He has to deal with the shell shock of his future while also coming to terms with the idea of his master being somewhat different from the one he knows him to be. I'm going to be completely honest with you with this next one. I did not see coming. This movie managed to make the Krang intimidating. Imagine a world where the Warner siblings were bent on world domination and destruction. And that's what you get with the Krang. They're brutal and bad to the bone and don't pull their punches. And long are the days where they were shrewd, testicle-looking monsters. This version of the Krang kind of reminds me more of Clayface from Batman. I can see why this movie took so long because, boy, the animation was worth the wait. This was a banger from start to finish, and almost every scene is poster worthy. Believe me when I tell you, you're gonna absolutely love this film. I heard a rumor that if this movie does well, there might be talks of a revival, but I don't know. Anything's possible. Otherwise, this was a great send-off to an underrated classic. You agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section and let's get a conversation going. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you know the next time we upload, and thanks for watching.
Realize that the show